Murder on
the Orient Express.
Orient Express. This is
Reviews.
And we have another one for you. So we both had the opportunity finally to check out Murder on the Orient Express, to which is a remake. Original came out in 1974, and I never saw the original.
I didn't see it either.
I didn't read the Agatha Christie books that it's based off of. I believe it's books. Might be a book.
There's a couple books I think based off the character. I think.
Okay. So on the detective, right?
Yes.
Hercule, not Hercules, like everyone was saying in the movie, which was upsetting him. Played by Kenneth Barnoff. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that, but I've seen him in some other things.
Yeah.
Pretty good actor. I think overall on this film, we'll break it down a little bit. Casting. We'll start with casting on this. Good job on casting so many stars. I don't know if it was necessary though.
Yeah, I don't think you needed all those people. I mean, you had a big cast of known actors. I think most of it was just to get people in the movie theater. I feel like this
was done for a draw.
Yeah, to get people in the movie theater.
As opposed to some movies we've seen in the past where it's an epic film and there's lots of characters that require really good actors to successfully pull off the movie. Not so much the case here.
Yeah.
I think they might have overcast it on this one, where they like Johnny Depp's character.
Yeah.
Really well done. I don't know if he needed Johnny for that though.
Yeah, I mean, for the one scene, but it was fine. But like, I felt like you didn't need him. You could got someone else that could just pull that off for one scene. But I guess star power to bring people in a movie theater.
Yeah, more of a draw. So we'll just say that. So they all did well. I don't know if he needed them all to pull this movie off.
Yeah.
And then pacing of this film, would you say pretty good?
Yeah, I mean it moved pretty quickly in terms of like showing you one area, then moving on a train, and then start speeding up when stuff happens on the train. So I mean it moved kind of quickly in terms of you didn't feel like you're in a movie theater for like 2.5 hours.
Right, so for a movie that clocks in at about 2 hours, right, six minutes shy of 2 hours, I didn't feel like I was sitting there for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Which in this type of film is surprising.
Yeah.
Considering since it's mostly all like thriller, puzzle, mystery type kind of stuff, you would think that you would start to feel like the draw, like, oh man, this movie is taking a while to get to where it needs to be, but it didn't feel that way at all, which is really good, really good. I was kind of preparing myself for the long haul when I sat down and watched this. I was like, oh man, it's gonna take a while to build up, but not the case.
Yes.
So pleasantly surprised there. How would you say the overall plot was done on this one?
The plot was pretty good in terms of.
No spoilers.
I'm not gonna give you anything away. I'm not gonna tell you what happened at the end, but it's pretty good in terms of keeping you guessing for most of the movie and understanding kind of what's going on. So in that instance, it's a murder mystery, and that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to figure out who done it.
Definitely reminded me of Clue, which is another popular whodunit type film.
Yeah.
Minus that amount of comedy that they threw into Clue, right?
Yeah.
There were still like murder mystery elements, but there weren't all the random jokes in between.
Yeah, there's like a few like at the beginning, and then it kind of just stopped at the beginning.
There are some small jokes in between here and there to kind of keep you a little bit lighthearted, but the tone is still like, hey, there is a murderer, and we need to find out who it was.
Yeah.
Right? So, how do you like the introductions? Like, do you think they spent enough time introducing each character?
For what it was,
like overall,
I guess some guys got more screen time than others, but at the same time, I think it was to keep the mystery going or what it is for each character.
Yeah.
That's why I say with the cast, some people didn't need to be used because the screen time they have is so little for sometimes.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Definitely to kind of play off what Ian is saying. There's some characters that seem to have played a much more intricate role and connection to everything that's happening, whereas some were like, I knew this person, and now you tell a little bit about me, or this is what I did in a former life, or this is what I'm doing now, and this is how I ended up on the train. And you're like, well, that was like all of like a 30-second flashback in it.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know if this person needed to be, cast in this role to fulfill
Yes.
what's required from the scripts of the movie. So let's go into the overall rating here. I'll let you go first. I'll let you do the honor since I got to do Thor Ragnarok last time.
I'd say overall, I'd probably get it like a 7. 7 out of 10.
Also, we're just going to change our scale now?
Oh, my fault. I'd 7 out of 5, huh? So it's,
let's half that.
It's half that. Like,
Half that.
you know.
3.5?
No, I would say maybe like a 3.
Oh. You gave
Probably 3.
it a 7, but then when you have the overall rating, you dropped it lower.
It's a 3.
So about a 3.
About
So
a 3.
3 out of 5.
Yeah, 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. So would you say this is one to watch in the theater for sure? Or this is more of like watch at home for sure?
You probably watch it at home. You know, good murder mystery at home.
Okay.
You know, at a night or bored or something like that. Go ahead, get your good murder mystery in.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and I will co-sign on that rating. I would definitely say those people who like watching like First 48 or CSI type of thing, instead of watching the reruns or hoping for new episodes, when this comes out to home video, I definitely would say check it out. Or if you're that big on those type of shows, definitely go see it in the theater. But if this isn't really up to your speed, like this genre is far and few between in my opinion, as far as it being released in movies, movie theaters. So if this is your type of genre to go check out, I would say definitely see it. It was good. It does make you think. I want to say that I had it figured out more closer towards the end. A lot of these type of movies nowadays, I usually figure out the first like 30 minutes in, maybe even the halfway point. But this one, it did take me a while to get to it. And then even still, I wasn't 100% sure how everything connected. So good movie overall. So threes around. Threes around. All right. This is everyone's favorite spot. Everyone's favorite time. Spoilers. So, as you know, our overall rating 3. Check it out if this is your type of genre, your type of film. If you like watching First 48, any of those shows on TLC or murder mysteries or investigations, definitely go check this out. Good stuff. But this is where we get into the intricate details.
Yeah, the butler did it.
Is there even a butler on there?
I don't know, but they don't always say that for murder mystery.
He's not a bagman either. So, all right, so this is where we go to spoilers.
He did it himself, yo.
Johnny Depp killed himself. So let's start off with talking about the overall story plot here, right?
Yes.
Every single person that's on this train has some connection to Johnny Depp's character, who goes by the name Ratchet, who they then reveal is this I guess he's like a mob gangster type kind of dude.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Which they won't tell you his name, and obviously in any, if you were to look up his character in IMDb or something else like that, they won't tell you his name.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell you either. I know we're in spoilers, but I'm still not gonna say it. So basically, they're all, because everyone refers to him as Ratchet for the most part, anyways, which I think is kind of funny, consider what we use Ratchet for nowadays.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he's concerned for his life.
Yes.
He ends up getting killed literally the night after, or the same night he tries to implore the world famous detective
to protect him,
basically, to watch his back, make sure he doesn't get killed, because he's been getting threats. He's on this train. There's a bit of a scuffle. They kind of interlude that the detective is slowly but surely getting clues to the evening's happenings, if you will. And sure enough, he's dead. And this happens like, what was that? Maybe 2 or 3 doors down
from where he was at.
From where he's actually staying. So, I mean,
which I thought was weird too, that he
didn't wake up. Close, right?
He didn't get waken up by any noise.
Well, if you look at it, he was up that whole time. Remember, like he pops his head out the first time when he's like, "Monsieur Ratchet, are you okay?"
Oh, actually, you heard the knocking, right?
Remember?
Yeah.
Because he gets up because he hears all the initial commotion, and he gets up with the bellhop, right?
Yeah.
And then or the conductor that's on there, and they're like, "Oh, is everything okay?" And you hear, "Oui, monsieur, nothing's wrong," right?
Yes.
And he talks in French, which was a key indication, obviously, right off the bat, that someone else was in his room because Ratchet. This film takes place in international locations, from Istanbul to what was the other location? I want to say they're headed to like Austria and Turkey, and then I'm not really sure I call it Orient Express. I don't know if they're actually traveling in the Orient, but whatever.
I think it's the name of the train, right?
Yes, yeah. So and then, but most of the passengers and people on there were speaking like German or French based off the time that this was taking place during like World Wars basically, right?
Yeah.
So the character Ratchet never speaks French the entire time he's there. Back to Hercule, who he speaks French. Apparently he speaks multiple languages because he speaks French, he speaks German later on in this film. I want to say he speaks maybe like Arabic a little bit too later on when he's trying to solve that mystery at the Wailing Wall. That's what it's called, the Wailing Wall. His first caper that we see him solve, which I like how he put that cane there.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a second too. So that kind of gives you a clue that someone is hidden in Johnny Depp's room. Yeah. And then later on, they interlude that the rooms somehow have an inner lock. Like there's doors you can open to go to room to room.
In the side,
which I'm like, how big are these freaking cargo rooms? Like I've never been on a train like that to know. Yeah. But it's just crazy. Like the size in my mind, I'm trying to think. But they do initially try to give you a scale of the train itself, right? They show them when they're all going to the bar, and then they all are walking around, and then there's that big scene where they're preparing food.
And then the princess is like picking her room because she's like, not this one, not this one, no. Yeah. And okay, put the bags here.
Right? I'm like, she's an old princess too.
Yeah.
Needs to be married and become queen, I guess, already or something. I don't know what's going on there. It's an 85-year-old princess. pretty princess. So, but the initial scene where we're introduced to our hero, right, our protagonist of this film, was a pretty cool setup. I like the way they showed his genius, if you will, as it comes to solving cases, and the fact that he has a strange quirk that gives him his ability, right? Okay. If you will, his powers of perception. He likes everything in balance.
Yeah.
Which there's a very odd scene where he steps on poop.
Yeah.
Right? Big old thing of poop.
And then you're like, oh, sorry. You're like, oh, no, it's just the imbalance.
And then he steps on the other half that has squashed up higher from the first time he steps in it to make it even again.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is...
But I think he was also doing it because he wants it on both of his shoes, so it's balanced.
So it's probably, I would say probably a two-parter, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit on his shoes, on one shoe, not the other, and then from the little even camel or horse patty that it was, one side is raised up higher than the other, so he steps on it and evens it out.
Yeah, with the other foot.
Yeah, with the other foot, which I was like, this dude is super weird.
But he's like, it's balanced now.
But that's his whole thing. He finds the imperfections because he likes a world of balance. Right. So it helps him find things that are out of place because he's like, this shouldn't be here, and this shouldn't be here, and thus the deduction is, you did this, right? So that's how he solves everything. Pretty much is what gives him his abilities to find out things that are out of place and put them right where they should be. So overall, would you say this took you a while to figure out based off of all the different plot devices, or
it took a while. I would say probably a little over half the movie, and then you start seeing the plot that's going on and saying, oh, there's a connection there, there's a connection there, there's a connection there. It's probably this. At first you think it's probably this, and you're thinking, okay, it's probably not because it's just why? It's kind of far-fetched. And it's just like, oh, as it going on, it kind of seems like, oh, okay, that might.
Remember, it's spoilers, so you can go ahead and give more information.
They kind of did it.
Everybody
did it.
Yeah. So how do you like the fact that they actually wove a story where everyone had a hand in the murder.
Yeah. So basically, the whole thing was a plot to kill Johnny Depp's character, Ratchet, and basically the detective wasn't supposed to be there. That's like the wrench in their plans. Like
Yeah.
it was basically all planned perfectly to kill this guy, revenge from, taking the baby, which is basically I guess a nod to the Limburg baby from
Yeah, I was
history.
saying, like, talk about that.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
So basically like the Limburg baby, but it's like the movie, it's a different name, so it's
Armstrong.
like Armstrong Baby, where they, is a famous like pilot or general that basically baby gets kidnapped and was killed by Johnny Depp's character
After they paid the ransom.
after they paid the ransom, which is almost the exact same thing that happened to the Linkberg baby. So they kind of use that story over, but they're saying, oh, what was all these people that this touched went back and found the killer and had a plan to take him out.
Exactly. So somehow they interweave this plot where the death of the baby impacted these 12 people so much that it, as the detective says, breaks their human soul.
Yes.
It affects their human condition to where they cannot stand it anymore to be good enough to ignore the travesty that this man caused them, that they need revenge. They sought revenge and they went after it and got it.
Yeah.
So for there's the babysitter involved,
Yes.
the caretaker of the original daughter of the family, the family's mother-in-law, the grandmother,
The sister.
the sister, the lawyer son of the trial, the lover of the proclaimed person who didn't actually do it, but they thought it could be her.
Yeah.
So and then what was the other?
Oh,
one?
the other one's
Connects-
the black guy was he basically was under the
He was the friend, basically this black
General,
guy,
yeah.
basically black Lieutenant Armstrong had a underling, which was
Colonel.
Who was Leslie Odom Jr.'s character, and he basically helped put him through med school.
Yeah.
And basically set him up for life pretty much after that. Well, imagine if someone did all that for you, and they got killed.
Yeah.
Or he killed himself. He was driven to madness and sadness, and he killed himself because of the loss of his daughter.
Sure.
So if someone caused this to happen to someone that basically changed your entire life, that set you up to be like pretty well off, pretty much is what he did, how would you feel about that?
Yeah.
Would you want revenge?
Yes. It's a train full of revenge.
Probably. I mean, if the chances of no one else being around except for other people who want to kill this person too,
Yeah.
you might jump in on it. Not saying it was right, just saying. I mean, it was a train full of justice, basically, is what happened, right?
The whole train basically wanted revenge.
Justice.
They wanted revenge, and it was basically brought on by the bomb, right?
By the what?
It was Michelle Pfeiffer's character, right?
Yes.
Yes.
She was the mother-in-law.
Yeah.
She was because Colonel Armstrong's wife was the daughter of a very famous actress.
Yes.
And she was the one tied to it directly. Her only other child, who was also on the train, lost her sister and brother-in-law and everyone's favorite little daughter, which her name was, I believe, Daisy. Yeah. The child's name was Daisy, that was killed by Johnny Depp's character, Ratchet. And then the caretaker of the child, who is Penelope Cruz's character, was basically changed her outlook on life. She was basically like a drunken nanny.
Yeah.
And she was always drinking, and since she was already like halfway intoxicated, she was like, "Oh, who's in this room?" And Johnny Depp basically just pimp slap her one time, and she's out. Yeah. And had she not been drinking and she was sober, she probably could have stopped him. But since she was already two shakes to the wind, she didn't have any opportunity to. So. So that's her motive for revenge. It was pretty interesting to see how they tied all that together, especially Willem Dafoe's character, where he was in love with the accused woman who was driven to kill herself because she's like, I didn't do this.
And everyone thinks I did.
Everyone thinks I did because this guy kept stacking this evidence against her, and it was that part was pretty crazy to me. Yeah. I was like, what the heck? So. Overall, I thought it was really well done. Like we said earlier, a 3-star. just off the plot alone, I probably would bump it to a 3.5. Because it was really good overall. Though I'm gonna give it a 3 still. Not gonna change my overall stance. I would say based off just the plot alone, 3.5. Do I feel they could have given us a little bit more? Maybe. I mean, for the subject matter they're touching on, I don't really see how they could have done any better.
More. I mean, you got good enough backstory on the characters at the end of seeing why they're all here and what they all did and what's the reasoning behind it.
It's a really good build-up.
Yeah.
Right? I haven't seen a film with this much plot building done in a really long time.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious how he had that mustache guard. So it's like a mustache guard mold type of thing to make sure his mustache shades the same way. And then the lady who plays the Countess was making fun. She's like, "You're a funny looking man."
Yes.
You're funny looking for a
detective. He had to keep his mustache to grow balanced, so he has
out super far out this way. Like it literally, I think it stopped over here, like past like his cheekbones, which is crazy.
It's almost like a double mustache. Too.
It did look like a double mustache. Yes. It was pretty wild. I don't even think I can grow hair where he has growing. So pretty wild. But overall, like we said, very good. Any other points you want to talk about in this one?
I think we covered mostly everything in terms of where the movie went to. Even though a little twist where you're thinking, oh, the black guy did it?
I was a little upset at first. I was like, really? Not only do you make racial comments throughout the film, and yada, yada, yada. Which was funny because William Dafoe's character is actually acting as if he's a racist. Yeah. Because he claims to be an Austrian professor.
Yes.
But he's not. He's actually just a run-of-the-mill cop from New York.
New York, yeah.
So, it was interesting. Well, he also claims to be a Pinkerton too, remember?
Yeah.
So he tries to tell a double lie, but the detective, because he notices the gunmetal blue finish of his revolver, that he's actually a regular cop.
Yes.
Which I was like, whoa, what the heck?
Well, the fact that he figured out he was like faking in the first place because of the way he pronounced one word.
Tools. He pronunciated a part of tools incorrectly to be Australian.
Yes.
Or from Austrian. So basically it's its equivalency of German, right?
Yeah.
So I guess since he pronounced that incorrectly, he was like, you've got to be faking it. And he claims that he learned that accent from one of his neighbors.
Yes.
So, I mean, kudos to them on that, too.
Yeah, like he's someone you look up to. That's what he was making that character of. Like this, like, butcher, right? Or something that he lived near.
Yeah, and then he had kind of like, I don't know, I want to say it was like almost like a country accent.
Yeah, after he started talking, he went back to sort of country, and I was like, oh.
Yeah. And then did he change again? Or did he stay that
I think he stayed with that one.
Yeah, he stayed with that one. So that was pretty good. Michelle Pfeiffer's character played really well.
Yeah.
I actually thought she stabbed herself.
I did that too. I thought, okay, she probably.
But the doctor is actually the one that stabbed her, since he could do it without hitting any vital organs, and he could place it just right.
Yeah.
So, pretty interesting. I thought overall, there's a lot going on as far as the plot. Not so much where you get confused.
Yes.
Just enough to keep you, like, I don't want to say on the edge of your seat, but intrigued and interested in where the movie was going, as opposed to like, I don't really care. Tell me who killed him.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not the black guy.
Thank goodness.
But it technically is the black guy.
It technically was the black guy. Yeah, if you actually really think about it, he probably helped the most because he was like, stab him like this, use barbitol, this is that. There's a lot of plot devices he helped because of his expertise.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he wanted to help, though, because of the fact that Colonel Armstrong helped him so much with his path in life. Yeah. He accepted him for who he was and didn't discriminate against him. So it was really good. His love interest was interesting as well. Yeah. She was like very intelligent character who basically uses I plead the fifth without saying I plead the fifth.
Yeah.
Right?
She's like, can you arrest me for not answering?
Is it a crime not to say anything? So that was well done as well. Well played, I'd say. Yeah. Josh Gad's character, McQueen, who was basically Ratchet's like man secretary, his man butler, almost his butler, but like his man secretary, was interesting in the fact that he was stealing from Ratchet.
He's like, he get all his money illegally, so might as well steal it.
Might as well take it. He says, he says pennies off the top. But when you look at the ledgers that they like briefly talked about, he was stealing thousands of dollars.
Yeah, because Ratchet didn't speak French or anything else, and all the ledgers were in French or wherever it is, so he doesn't know what's coming in or what's going out.
Yeah, what's coming in, what's going, and he just knew that he was making money still.
Yeah.
Right? And he could kind of maintain his semi-lavish lifestyle. So it was interesting. So overall good. Overall good.
Yeah.
I think we'll go ahead and end it with that. Next week,
Justice League.
Justice League.
Man.
Justice League. All right. So as usual, like, comment, subscribe,
and share it to everybody.
And don't forget to hit the bell. Bell's gonna be on this side probably for notifications.
So when we post, you'll
know. You'll know.
That's right.
Go check it out. You'll be like, AI reviews. I gotta check that out.
Now.
Exactly. So until next time.
Peace.